So I'm sure you will have seen by the title, I've been a little bit quiet and secretive over who the new supplier is. It's really, really exciting. I've had so many people from day one asking if we've got this supplier. So I'm now very happy to announce that we have got TUI. Now, along with TUI comes Crystal Ski and Morella Cruises. They all fall under the same umbrella. We have access to all three as of now. Asterisks, terms and conditions. I'll go through those in a second. For anybody who doesn't know TUI, they are literally the biggest UK tour operator that there is out there. Certainly since the unfortunate Thomas Cook scenario of them going into liquidation a few years back now. So TUI, Jet2, which watch this space, hopefully. TUI, Jet2, biggest UK tour operators, and we finally managed to crack one of them. So tonight's training is really quite straightforward. It's not actually going to take very long. I'm going to give you an overview of what I think is a really, really simple system. Before I do, there's just a couple of things I want to go through for everybody. So TUI can only provide one login per ABTA number. So as we know, Archer UK has got one ABTA number that we all share, meaning, of course, we just have one login. So you cannot go off and register for TUI yourself. Now, that's okay, but with regards to our working model, if you like, that can unfortunately bring just a little bit more of a risk element into things. You know, we've got agents from the very top of the country right down to the bottom, and spread far and wide. So we always try and eliminate any risk that we can. So what we mean by this is we wouldn't like the idea of an agent being able to get into another agent's booking or, you know, anything like that. GDPR and, you know, data protection, all these kind of things all fall there. So what we've decided on is you cannot have access to the TUI login, which I have, until you've been with the company for 45 days. So once you've hit that, if you email me, for anybody, this will all go on the Travel Cafe, but anybody that doesn't have it, it's Sharna, SHARNA, at archertravel.com. Once you email me, you've been in the program for 45 days. I can double check on my agent list because I get everybody's joining days. And you are then allowed access to the login portal. The next thing that we have decided on is, again, with it being one login, that means that everything goes to one central system, which is, of course, me. So once a booking has been made, I will get the booking confirmation. Again, that is just the central system. So once you've made a booking, you'll need to contact me and you'll need to tell me the reference number, which you get as soon as you've booked. So jot it down, screenshot it, whatever it may be. You'll email me with the reference number and the customer's surname. I will then nip onto EconPay, double check that what should have been taken has been taken, whether that's deposit, full payment, etc. And I will forward you the confirmation. The final thing is that if you have anybody traveling within or wanting to travel within 14 days, you will have to contact me to make that booking. And that is it. I'm sorry if that sounds like it's a lot, but as I say, there are certain things we have to put in place when it comes to having one login only. I don't know about anybody else. For anybody who's holidayed with TUI, knows them, or has had clients that have wanted maybe TUI specific properties or cruises, etc. I would rather have a couple of rules in place and have the contract than to not be able to use them at all. This is a huge opportunity for us. So few rules, but full access to their complete system. So with that being said, I'm going to share my screen now. And I'm going to go ahead and take you straight into the login page. So obviously, once we get to the, in fact, Tara, can you just let me know if you can see that, please?
Yeah, all is good.
Thank you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and log straight in. And for anybody who's used the TUI website as a direct customer before, as a direct client, you'll see that this is very, very similar, which is great because most of us at one point or another have probably used it, but also can be a little bit worrying because without realizing, let's just go for it here. Without realizing, you could well be in the direct client. So just make sure, rather than tui.co.uk, you've got your retail agents. Again, how easy it's done. You know, if you've got a customer who's been on the website, you might be looking at what they've found. Before you know it, you've got confused and you don't know sort of where you're at. Like I say, it's got a lot of good points as well because it's so user friendly. So just as the main page, there's not a huge amount on here that we need to know about. You can browse some deals, you can browse free kids places, their tours, specific swim up room properties, and they have some deals on there by departure airport. You can go further down and you've got your holiday types on here. You've got holidays designed by TUI. Now, again, just to backtrack a little bit, the reason I'm doing a very quick training of the system here is quite simply because I could probably spend a month doing different TUI trainings, which, by the way, if you want, by all means, I'll do that. But they have their own properties, so sensory properties. For anybody who's been lucky enough to stay in any of those, they were designed on sort of hitting a customer's senses, if that's the right way to put it. There's more and more being built year by year. They are great. I have been lucky enough to go to 3 or 4 of them myself. They've got TUI Blue hotels. They've got Robinson, which is like your active. So if you've got any, you know, really active families and things like that. TUI Sunio, they are, how's the right way to put this? Your lower budget style accommodations without kind of losing, you know, your necessities and things like that. I'm sure that's probably not come out right. Tend to be family friendly as well. Riu hotels, most will have heard of Riu. They are obviously a chain, not a TUI chain. And TUI Magic Life, lots of activities, lots of entertainment, all inclusive. A lot premium, all inclusive. And like I say, we can carry on and on and on, as you can see there. TUI Blue for all, higher end hotels, TUI Blue for 2, adult only, TUI Blue for families, speaks for itself. Gold is adult only properties. I mean, as I say, you can just go on and on and on. Ones I will touch on also very briefly, a la carte, they are their highest of highest rated hotels. So very, very top 4-star or 5-star. Platinum, they are your 4 and 5-star premium compared to your 4 and 5-star high-end luxury. So they are always good to sort of just touch into. A la carte, with them being the top, you get a couple of extra benefits, private taxis instead of coaches, a little bit more luggage, etc., etc. Holiday villages were initially first choice, a first choice concept. TUI and First Choice merged together a few years ago and kept holiday villages. Again, they are all about family, all about the kids' entertainment and the activities and all that kind of thing. And Splash World kind of speaks for itself. Or will have either a water park on site or access to a water park for your duration. Scene is basically what used to be 1830s, but they've now opened that up a little bit, and small and friendly, more off the beaten track. Maybe your 12 bedroomed bed and breakfasts and that kind of thing. So let me just go back to the top there. Things like that, by the way, as well. Just clicking into each one of those and having a snapshot overview is really good for ingraining into your memory. Just short, sharp, they're not webinars or anything, but just a little bit of an overview. They're really good to go into and just brief yourself on. So straight back up to the top. So the first thing you can see here is you've got your holidays, you've got your cruises. I've already booked in a Marella cruise training for the week after next. So I will show you their homepage, but that's as far as I'm going to go with it. Again, you can see exactly how similar it is to the page that we've just been on. Then you've got flight only, which again, just go into and do your usual thing just at the top there. You've got hotel only. You've got the deals, which as we saw are actually on the homepage anyway. And you've got your destination overview. So I'm just going to go back to the holidays, which you can also, obviously you could see there, some of them were subtitled. And we'll just do some very quick searches. Now you don't have to put anywhere in. You can leave it, as you can see, as any. You can click on the list if you maybe want a bit of inspiration or your clients want a little bit of inspiration. The other thing to bear in mind is, let's say, I don't know, let's put Lapland in. The other thing, meaning that you can't really ever go wrong, is if I try and click prior to November, you can see it's not letting me. They don't fly prior to the 30th of November. I can go forward to December and January, and February, and I cannot go any further. So you're never really going to look silly either, if that's the right way to put it. And what I mean by that is if you do have somebody who's saying, I want to go to Lapland in October, you know for a fact, instead of saying, let me get you a price and come back to you, you know for a fact you can't do it. So I'm actually just going to stick with Lapland because it's neither here nor there. You've got your flexibility here. So if you can only go on the exact date, it also tells you your flying days on that grid there. Obviously, that would change depending on which airport you chose. And you can pop your flexibility in. So 3 days, 7 days, or that exact date only. And you can also choose how long you want to go for. Now, you'll start getting used to this system. If I click 4 nights here and then go back to my calendar, you can actually see that it's changed slightly. So it's now only showing me where I can go for 4 nights. You may or may not have noticed that, but it will change your calendar as well for you. And you can do here however many rooms you want. So you can go up to 9 rooms. You can pop in there that you want a villa, and you can also pop in there that you don't mind how many rooms. So for those of you who maybe have a bit of a group and they've got 4 adults and they've got 3 kids between them and they just want the cheapest way of doing it, you don't have to put how many rooms in there. It will allocate you the cheapest room allocation, be that 1 room, 2 room, 3 rooms. If you do want to put an exact number in, you can pop it in there and it'll ask you exactly how many people you want in each room. So if you do have a single passenger that wants their own room, then you can filter it down to that as well. And then as simple as that, you just go ahead and press your search button. Now I have kept Lapland for quite a good reason here. So obviously you get all of your holidays. So we've got 26 found here. You've got your filters down the left hand side. So if they want full board, half board, self-catering, bed and breakfast. Your dates are on there. So for the 4 nights, these are the dates that are available. You can filter it by TripAdvisor reviews, by the TUI ratings. This is not applicable here, but you know, you could be looking at, say, let me think of somewhere off the top of my head. So Manchester to Phuket, TUI do a direct flight, but they will also use, for example, Emirates, in which case you'll find there that you've got direct or indirect flights. So you can filter it by things like that as well. You've got your different areas of Lapland, hotel facilities, best for, so your families, your luxury, etc., etc. And if you want to filter it by price, you can do as well. So you can also change it up here. So low to high. And as you can see now, you've got your per person price and you've got your total cost just underneath. The name of the accommodation and the area that it's in will also be there as well. Your TUI rating, which 9 times out of 10 is the official star rating. You don't tend to find that they differ, but when you go into them, you can double check what the official rating is. And of course, the TripAdvisor review next to it. Anything in red is because you're down to minimal numbers. So yeah, you can see there you've got your different accommodations available in your different resorts, etc., etc. So let's just choose any random one. And once you get through here, so you've got your TripAdvisor reviews again, you've got your different photographs of the accommodation itself. You've got an overview of the property. Oh, you can see there as well the official rating. So as I say, once you've gone through, if you're not too sure what the TUI one means with the little circles with the T's inside, you will find the official star rating. You've got an overview of the facilities. So any pools, food and drink, entertainment, sports and activities, health and beauty, and any other facilities. And you've got the location as well. So it'll tell you how far it is in the way of transfers, and then they will tend to pick topical areas for where the hotel is sort of located. You've got a map down there as well, which you can click on and expand and what have you. And you can then continue through. So now it's going to take you through to the flights. So depending on where you're looking at, this down here, you might find more or less. And as you can see up here, it's showing me 4 nights, and it is also giving me an option that if I reduce it to 3, my saving would be £156 from £156 per person less. So these are your flight times here. If there are any other flights available, you'll see them underneath. It could be that TUI offer more than 1 flight a day. It could be that there's also EasyJet flights or Sun Express flights available on that day. They could be cheaper, they could be more expensive, they could be more desirable flight times, but they will all pop up down here. Your seats, if you want to pre-book your seat numbers, you just click into there. It'll show you the seat map now instantly. Say now instantly. Once upon a time, you could add on that you wanted to pre-book your seats, but you couldn't do it at the time of booking. So it's telling you here, extra legroom are available. Another good thing, These seats are suitable for adults and children. So TUI introduced a few years ago your extra legroom seats and your extra space seats. Very, very easy to get mixed up, but now they actually tell you instantly extra legroom, children can have extra space, which obviously there isn't any on here saying that we've got a child, it wouldn't offer them. Extra space seats, adult only exit seats. So you can go ahead and choose those if you wish, and your prices are all on there as well. That flight is already pretty full, I may, if I do say so myself. So I'm just going to leave that for now, just because it's adding unnecessary time on. It'll tell you exactly what you've got included in the way of luggage. So everybody gets 20 kilos. You also get 10 for your hand luggage, as you can see there. And your costs for upgrading should you wish. You don't have to upgrade everybody either. So another thing to bear in mind, you can just add one lot of 25 kilos on if somebody's thinking they may just need that little bit more. Again, you won't find this all the time. It's different with Lapland, but you do automatically get in-flight meals. TUI don't really do in-flight meals, but as I say, you've got a couple of exceptions there, i.e. going to Lapland because they make it all special and funky, and the cabin crew are elves, etc. And then what we can see here is basically just a breakdown. So you've got your accommodation, your nights, how many people, you've got your room. So we've included, as standard, it's included a twin room on bed and breakfast. You can go ahead and click into that where it said change board or room, and anything that's available as an upgrade or a change will show you here. So you can upgrade to half board, and that is an extra £368 for all 3 people. It's not per person, all 3 people for the duration. And if we want to change the rooms, they haven't got any, so that's not a good example, but that would come up here. Different room types, and again, just like above with the board basis, it would tell you the costing as well. You can also pop any special requests on there. So for anybody who's travelled before to a specific hotel or anything, can be quite particular with room numbers, you can put it in there. Any dietary requests, if it's an anniversary, etc., etc., you can see all of that that's available there. You're going to confirm room number 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're going to return to your holiday. So you can see your total cost just down here. So you've got your transfers included. The TUI Care Foundation is their charity. Obviously, you don't have to keep that on there. It's automatic, but by all means, take it off. And you can also adopt a tree, which is very new, or adopt a turtle, which is also on there as well. So once you've given your read back to your clients and they're happy with all of that, you're just going to continue through to passenger details. If there's any discount codes going on, that's your area to put them in. Some may obviously have a holiday voucher. Pop your promo code in there and apply it. And then straightforward, as you would do with anybody else. So lead passenger's name and date of birth, telephone number and email address. And then for the other passengers, it's just their names, children, also date of birth. It will give you a full overview again. It's going to tell you exactly what deposit is due. Now, this here is pretty much entirely down. I'm just going to highlight this. Pretty much entirely down to you of how you do it. So you can see there they are offering a low deposit of £75 per person. If you wish to take the £75 per person that they are saying is due today, absolutely fine. What you'll then need to ensure that you do yourself is to follow up on the 19th of June. In this case, there would be another £375 due. Now, add those together and you get £600. Short haul, holidays with TUI, the full deposit is £200 per person. So what that means, if you have a customer that pays £75, this here, and then prior to the 19th of June, were to decide that they weren't going to go anymore, they needed to cancel it for whatever reason that may be, note in big, big red letters, they are still liable for the £375. So effectively, you would need to ensure that you told your customer this 225 is a low deposit. The full deposit of this holiday is actually 600. So I do need to make you aware that the £600 is what you would be liable for no matter what. So that's entirely down to you. It's certainly in the way of, let's say, for example, Jet2, who are known, of course, to offer a very good deposit of £60. It's great in the way of a grabber. Well, yeah, there's £60. I'll tell you what, I can do 75. But if you do have clients, again, just drilling it into everybody, you need to ensure they're aware that the deposit that they would be liable for is £200 per person. But if you've got clients that aren't necessarily needing the low deposit, I would personally just go ahead and take that full 600, because people tend to understand more so their deposit is what they would lose should they cancel. So where possible, just take the full deposit. When it's not possible, not a problem at all. Just ensure your customer knows the full amount. And very finally, you've got your agent commission there. And then any erratas, which 9 times out of 10 will only be sort of passport related. Any erratas that they need you to know about are down there as well. Now, the very final thing that I want to point out here. So on the day that we got this contract, I thought I'll log in. So for anybody who doesn't know, I worked for TUI for nearly 12 years. So I absolutely know this system pretty much inside out. When I say the slightest thing can make such a huge difference, I was messing about on this system the day that we got the contract. And what I decided to do, well, not decided to do, but I got a big question mark in my head, which was, why is it saying continue to payment? Because on the contract that I negotiated, we pay through EconPay. I'm gonna have to click continue to payment to find out what's happened here. And when I did that, I booked a holiday. I booked a holiday for somebody with a name that you would never be able to pronounce, because what I actually did was just go all over my keyboard, and that was their first name and their surname. I couldn't tell you where they were going, when they were going, and what the cost was. But when I say my heart dropped into my stomach, that would be an understatement. So please, of course, I got it sorted out, but still, it could have gone terribly wrong had I have accidentally gone into, you know, maybe an Emirates flight or something like that, because some flights are instant book, instant pay in full. And yes, I think any colour that I do have absolutely drained out of me. So please do not get confused why it says continue to payment. I've never known that in the whole time I worked for them. It usually would just say book now. That is what that means. It means book now. Once you have clicked that, you will be generated with a booking reference and I will receive a confirmation. So please don't do what I did and press it. And literally, it is as simple as that. I'm just going to stop sharing my screen for a second. I'm going to come back, and before I touch into the ski, I'm just going to see if anybody's got any questions on that, just in case I've missed anything.
Sharna,
Yes.
can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Right, okay. So
just want to check this. So you get to the end of all of that, you tell your, customer what the price is, about the deposits either way,
Yeah.
or, so how then do you continue if you don't press the secure payment or whatever it said? So how do you actually book it?
You press continue to payment.
You still do?
Yeah. But basically,
What you were saying is
sure,
don't fiddle around with it unless you're actually doing it, is what
yes,
you
because
meaning.
I was, literally as simple as that, Lorna. I was messing around, making sure that nothing had changed, and just obviously from a setting up the contract per se, I thought, oh, why have they put continue to payment? Are we allowed to pay direct?
Right.
That was never an option. Also, I'd had issues a couple of days before where it would allow me to log in, but then wouldn't allow me to search. So there'd been a couple of issues. So I thought I need to check before I put this out on a training. I need to check here that everything is as it should be. So when I clicked continue to payment, thinking, what does that mean? It booked the holiday.
Right.
So
okay.
really, it shouldn't say continue to payment. It should say book now.
Okay, right. That's fine. I just wanted to make sure that was the reason why, and that I wasn't. If I pressed that, it still meant I was doing the right thing. It was
Yes,
only
you
if I
are.
was playing around, or getting quotes or whatever.
Yeah, really,
wasn't
that's exactly it. Yeah, you don't want to. It's just it's a bit confusing in the fact it makes it look as though there's another stage prior to booking.
Yeah.
But there isn't.
Right. Okay. Right. Fine.
Quick question, Sharna.
Yeah.
Can we put that we're working in partnership with TUI?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got the contract with them, so that's no problem at all.
Brilliant. Thank you.
No problem. So I'm just going to reshare my screen. But as I say, TUI themselves are such a big sort of umbrella that we could sit for hours and weeks on end. And I think with certain maybe types of holidays, or maybe it's certainly obviously the cruise, I've already said I've got one booked in anyway for the week after next. I'll probably do a full training on ski as well, because that can be an absolute minefield for anybody who's not, sort of had to deal with ski before. So I only want to show you their system because you just log in differently. So I'm going to show you that. But as I say, very, very quickly, because we'll do one on cruise, we'll do a separate one on ski, and then we may even start getting into a little bit of the nitty gritty. Obviously, that's not something that we can really do with Gold Medal or with JTA, the likes of, because they use so many chain of hotels, so many different bed banks. The thing with TUI, the best way to look at it is if you book a TUI package, again, there is, of course, exceptions to that now that they use EasyJet flights and what have you. But if you book a TUI package from start to finish, you are looking for TUI. When you get to the airport, you go to a TUI desk. You're getting on a TUI flight. Once you get off that flight, you go to a TUI rep who will put you on a TUI transfer and take you to 9 times out of 10 a TUI hotel. Again, exceptions to that. They do chains of hotels, Barcello, etc. But where they've really expanded themselves within the market, Sensatori, for example, there'll be a lot of TUI exclusive hotels. But basically, the way that they are working with these hotels is, well, we share this property with Jet2, just as an example. We sell this hotel and Jet2 sell this hotel. So yes, there have been a lot of bad reviews on TripAdvisor lately over the food, but why should we, as TUI, pay for chefs to go out there and Jet2 will reap the benefits as well? So there was a lot of hoo-ha and arguments because of that kind of thing. I mean, that's a very sort of thingy example, a rubbish example, but it's happened a lot of time. So what they started doing was they started getting a lot of exclusive contracts. So, okay, if you stop working with Jet2, again, just as an example, we will pay for chefs and whatnot to come out to your hotel, retrain everybody, or, you know, whatever may have been necessary, but we want the exclusive contract. So this is where they've gained a lot of exclusive hotels, and where they've been able to change some hotels into a holiday village, as we saw, again, they're exclusive, or a gold, you know, that kind of thing, all of those sub-brands that they had. So that's where we could really spend a hell of a lot of time going into these things. So we may do one or two. Certainly, Tara, I know you're on here, and I know you've got your own agents and what have you. So if you hear anything, you know, on the grapevine in your group, please let me know, because if there is something that people would like to go into, then, you know, we'll go ahead and we'll start putting them in. It's knowledge, and we all know that is key. Basically, as soon as you sort of come across as though you know what you're talking about, you've already reeled that customer in.
Sorry, can I briefly ask a question?
Yeah.
Are we, so if, I mean, a lot of people I know go away with Jet2 and TUI, but they just do. It's easy for them to book it online. It's just one of those things. So if I say we are now a direct supplier of TUI, am I offering them a discount by booking with me rather than going direct online and booking with TUI?
No, not necessarily. So that can differ. Excuse me, sorry. That can differ. That's not the case 100% of the time. But something that you need to know, because transparency is the best, is that TUI online for a client and TUI online for an agent do not have price parity. Agent prices are more expensive. And by the way, that includes walking into a TUI store, an actual TUI store.
Yep.
They also do not have the same price as their internet. Bit by bit, I mean, I've not worked for TUI since 2018, I think it was, that I left. Even going right the way back to 2018, this has always been a big thing, where why are we not the same price as the internet, and and the simple reason at that time was online was really aggressive in the way of pricing and sales. So, you know, once upon a time On the Beach were dirt cheap because they were using the Ryanair flights and that kind of thing. And EasyJet, before they became as big as they are now, EasyJet were, you know, doing flights for £30 return. So they were really aggressive with their prices. So TUI had no choice but to reduce their online cost as much as possible to compete with these other people. Now, as the likes of Thomas Cook has sort of gone downhill, as the likes of TUI's name has grown bigger, they've not needed to be as aggressive. So bit by bit, the amount of difference between agent price and online price has begun to sort of level out. But full transparency, the answer is no. This is where you need to get in with that customer and offer them exactly what they've asked for, start to finish and everything in between, so that they don't have the opportunity, that sounds really aggressive, but so that they don't have the opportunity to go off and start looking at these things themselves. You can send them a link to the accommodation. Could be the accommodation direct. You know, you could send them photographs that we've just seen there on the system, etc., etc. Give them what they need prior to them needing to go and look themselves. Now, I'm not saying that you'll win them all. You absolutely won't. the other thing to bear in mind, I mean, going back to that one, for example, I think the commission was around 500 on the one that we've just checked, again, give or take, but for argument's sake, 500. You obviously do also have the option to reduce the price by £100 and take it off your commission. I know that that's not ideal. Sometimes you may want that customer to have them in your back pocket. You know, you could be with a client on the phone with a client, emailing back and forth with a client that does 5 or 6 holidays a year. Again, it may not be the case, but it could well be. Once they know that you have matched that price, or once they know you've given them that best price, then you'll tend to find, as they keep coming back to you, they'll find less and less reason to go off and do their own sort of research.
Yeah, of course.
But yes, full transparency there, because I'd much rather do that than have a million questions when people are looking.
Thank you.
No problem at all. So for the ski, I am just gonna pop, sorry, I won't be 1 second. Just making sure that I can log in. Oh yeah, I'd forgotten then. Right, let's just log out. Log out. So I'm just going to share my screen again. And to be honest, I'm not even massively going to go into this, but again, you can see that the login page is very similar and different at the same time. And once you log in, although of course the brand itself is different, absolute pretty much the same layout there. Your destinations are still up there. Your holidays, as in when to go, etc. Deals and, I knew I'd done that, deals and offers, and winter 25-26. So if you've got any avid skiers, they tend to go from one extreme to the other. They will either book 12, 14, 16 months in advance because they know exactly what they want and need, or you'll get your absolute chances for anybody again who needs to know, February half term, this is really good for socials and stuff. Skiers will also be used to this. So February half term, obviously expensive because it's school holidays, and Christmas, again expensive because it's Christmas, are the most popular times to go skiing, full stop. You will get people that chance it and go at Easter, and that's really down to them on how bothered they are about the amount of snowfall and what have you. But truly, although you don't tend to get a fantastic price, February half term, Christmas for skiing are 100% the peak times. Again, you've just got a few different offers and things like that along here. Get inspired, so different collections, the childcare, slope starters, so that's obviously your children, and where will you ski to next as a little quiz. And then, as you would do with a standard, normal, whatever the right word is, TUI holiday, you can do exactly the same. So you've got your destinations. Let's go for an easy one. Let's go for Alpe d'Huez. It'll tell you where you can fly from, and it will then give you the dates that you can go. That sounds pretty half-termish. And you can pop your peoples in there. You just go ahead and search. So you can see there is no availability for Alpe d'Huez on the dates that you selected. So something I will say is I checked Thursday the 12th. It only allows you to be flexible by a day. I actually think, again, these are just random things that you tend to know. I actually think that the flight to Alpe d'Huez is only on a Saturday. I could be wrong, but Yeah, it is. It's just on a Saturday. Again, you'll find these kind of things out just the more you do them. If you want to search specifically for free child places, you can. Again, you can sort it by low to high, etc., etc. And you can filter by your board basis. Something it's not there. Something that you may find more so with skiers. So you can pop on there if they're beginners, if they're advanced. And by the way, please ask these questions as well. Skiers do not mind. It's not something stupid to ask. Obviously, if you end up with a client on the phone that says we go skiing twice a year and have done for the last 10 years, you will know that they are more advanced. But again, you could still ask the question, okay, would you put yourself in more of an intermediate category or advanced? This is why I'm going to do a full training on ski. If they want nightlife, you know, you can filter it down to that. Less than a 2-hour transfer, because believe it or not, you can go skiing and you can have transfers of 4 and 5 hours. Your pricing is on there if you want to filter by anything like that. Again, your ratings and etc. they're all on there. Then you get your list just here. And the other thing you'll find, I mean, they couldn't have put a pricier one at the top, could they? Jeez Louise. The other thing that you'll find is it'll just give you a couple of points on the accommodation itself, so you don't necessarily need to go into each one. So you may find, again, we're going to go into this, I'm just giving you a few different things that you're probably going to hear when it comes to ski enquiries. You may find you've got clients who want ski in and ski out. That will come up there. So if it is ski in, ski out, I now need to try and find what, there you go. So this one is a ski in, ski out property. You've already ticked a box for your client there. So you don't have to panic and shrivel up into a corner if they start throwing these things at you, because chances are it will tell you that kind of thing. You may, what did I just see then that I was gonna, you may have somebody who wants nightlife. Après ski is basically nightlife. It does mean different things, but that's the easiest way again. Après ski equals great nightlife, live music and cocktails at the bar. You can click straight into your flight details. You've got photographs on there, etc. And you've got your crystal ski rating, just like the TUI one, and you've got the TripAdvisor reviews on there as well. You can click into an accommodation, and exactly the same as it does on the TUI holiday website. You've got your overview, you've got your location here, and you've got your facilities. In the overview, it will also tell you who it's best for. So 4 out of 5 for beginners, 5 out of 5 for intermediates, 4 out of 5 for your advanced, and your boarders, as in snowboarding. So you've got your overview down there. And then very quickly, not even going to go into it, I'm just going to show you what you can add. So again, as with the TUI, you've got your luggage and everything on there. Any alternative flights you can view. You can change your seats, you can change the luggage. And the main thing when it comes to a ski holiday is the extras. So lift passes, any offers you'll find on there. 6-day lift pass. So again, don't worry about asking these kind of things. Do they want, and they'll know what you mean if they are, if they've been skiing more than once, a local lift pass or an area lift pass. Add in any equipment on, skis, boards, boots, helmet. Any ski school, again, 9 times out of 10, people will tell you these, you may not even need to offer them. So any lessons, morning and afternoon. That's just telling people how confident you are. And the crystal snow package. So you can add that on if less than 50% of the runs are open, or if there is no snow, you know, if they've had a bad season for snow, etc., etc. You can do that as long as it's outside of 4 days of traveling. And then obviously you can do exactly the same for your second adult, and there will be the same sort of extras and anything for the child. See, just out of interest, yeah, they do have children's ski lessons, etc. And then obviously I've put no details in, so it won't let me book anything, but it would work exactly the same. And that's as far as I'm going to go into that, because we just don't have the time. Like I say, I will do a completely different, a completely separate training for ski. Don't want to scare anybody away, not at this time of night. So again, that's all I'm going to go into with ski. Just wanted to show you the system. Really, really user friendly again. Great information on there also. The other thing, if you're passing a travel agent, nip in, ask for a crystal ski brochure. They don't need to know what it's for. Ask for a TUI brochure, you know, just sort of get your head around that. Like I say, they're such a big company, they do such a lot. It may be worth having something physical in your hands as well, certainly in the way of ski and what have you, because it can be a bit of a minefield. So thank you, everybody. As I said, if you do want any more sort of in-depth trainings with regards to any of the TUI hotels, the TUI specifics, aside from training and cruise, which we're already going to do, please let me know. Don't get me wrong, I know things absolutely have changed since I went in 2018, but also a lot of it is the same. So I'm more than happy to try and help. And if I do get some feedback from people that's similar, then I know I can plan a training around certain things. So thank you, everybody, for joining.